Hero, thanks very much for joining in. So let's talk about that episode 5 of Penguins. Oh, this may contain some spoilers, so please look away if you haven't watched it yet. This was a really, really good episode. In this episode, we get to see how Oz is making more and more moves towards becoming a kingpin, but he's also making mistakes, and now he is being forced to retreat. We see Sofia also making big moves after the last week's episode where she basically annihilated the whole Falcone family, and now she is starting a brand new family, which is going to be, as she said, now a little bit more involved with paying their employees properly. And so she tortures Johnny for quite a bit, only to to release him and to until he gives her information about where the money is, and so she can make an example out of him at the new meeting with the new family. Um, we see Sal trying to. We see actually Oz being bribing a guy at the prison, security guard, and security guard stabbing him. We possibly think that he's died, but he has not. Sal manages to use the keys and escape from the prison. So Sal is on the loose, which towards the end, Sofia visits Sal in the remote cabin, only to offer him a possibility of working together, which is going to be a problem for Oz. Oz is on a retreat. He sends Vic to take care of his mom, where where Vic takes him into his old neighborhood, and it's also been seen by the local drug dealer, who is possibly now a going to maybe rat him out to Sofia, because Sofia has resources now. Sofia has more reach. This was a really, really good episode. Oz has managed to really kind of push a little bit far. He kills Sal's son and wife quite brutally, only to come to find out there are only 2 buckets of mushrooms that he was able to kind of retrieve, because everything else was destroyed during the shootout. This was a nice little nod towards the Oz, where he's really struggling now. He's trying to find out what other moves he has to do, but he comes to realization that there was a place in tunnels where they used to lead all over the city where the trolleys used to go underground, and that is going to be a new layer, new base of operation, which is going to be also used to grow the mushrooms. Sofia in this episode was quite menacing. She is now taking bigger moves. She is now declaring a new family name. She is based on her mom's name. And she is now taking control over everything. And she's trying to now get rid of Oz. But she needs more firepower, because she also knows that Oz is quite resourceful, and Oz is very capable of defending himself, but also he's capable of recruitment. So he will possibly recruit more army, he will recruit more people, and so Oz is still not giving up. He is trying to. He's trying to see what other moves that he has to do. Now, his mom is disappointed in him, because his mom knows what's going on, what he did. And even though Vic is now stepping up into his role a little bit more, Vic is becoming a little bit more violent. Vic is embracing the criminality a little bit more, and so we see Vic changing. We see Vic's personality changing, and so we don't know if the Oz is just using Vic, or he's actually trusting him. But he did trust him to take care of his mom and take his mom on a safe place. Johnny Vitti at the cemetery's prison torture by Sofia was really interesting, and then she just needed information to give Sofia needed information from Johnny, and then she knew right away that she was going to kill him. So Sofia is on the blood path. Sofia is on a war path to become a major crime lord, and now Oz has to figure out how to catch up with her, how to what moves does he have to maybe go after Sofia, maybe go after Sal, even though Sal is now on a warpath to kill Oz, because Oz has killed his wife and his child brutally. I'm not going to say how that happened, in case I want you to watch it, but this is a really, really good episode. We're starting to see things ramp up. We're starting to see Oz We see also Oz makes mistakes because up until this point he was kind of on a high. He was making good decisions. He was going places, but all of a sudden that stalled, and so now he is on the defense. Excuse me. He is trying to figure out what can he do. So now he's going to retrieve. He's going to grow the mushrooms, and he's going to go ahead and possibly use them to sell them himself and distribute himself. Big is embracing it a little bit more, and the whole prisoner swap that happened because in the beginning of this episode we see that Oz was just torching Maserati. He was done with it, and then they come to realize that on a TikTok, Maroney's son posted a video, and then Oz and the guys go into the shop, the tattoo shop where the Vic son was, the Sal son was, and they basically use him as a bait. And so it was mushrooms exchange for Maroney's son exchange, and so that kind of what Oz made some mistakes. And I think that was also like a power high a little bit because he was at this point making good moves. He was trusting himself a little bit more. He was also making those good moves. So I think he got a little bit cocky, and that kind of came back to bite him in the butt. But also we see how Vic is kind of lying for Oz. He wants his mom. Oz's mom to be proud of Oz, and Vic was lying to him how Vic took care of the Falcone's family, which was not the case, as we find out from the last episode. It was Sofia, and so we come to also find out that Gotham Police came up to Sofia's estate, and Sofia was playing it off that she doesn't know how it happened. She doesn't know what Johnny Vitti is. She just woke up and found everybody dead. And so that was we also see how she's talking to the cops like, are you guys gonna go drink beer and celebrate now because all the family's dead? And the cop didn't really deny it, because that's probably what's going to happen, because their major crime family is kind of being taken out. But what they don't realize is that another crime family is being formed. And so that's the scary part, because now you have somebody who's even more power hungry. You have somebody who has no rules. You have somebody who is smart, intelligent, brutal, who will do what it takes to for her to get to the path that she needs to get to. Excellent episode. I wasn't sure how they were really going to go ahead and continue from this, but I like how they're separating them. Sofia is making plans for her own. Oz is making his own plans, and they're possibly going to go head to head, because now what I think is going to happen, and this is just a prediction, I believe that they're going to have these two major crime lords going head to head, and one of them is going to come on top. And this is where now it's coming to where it's going to be Sofia versus Oz, because it's not going to be Sal Maroney, because even though she paid a visit to him to propose to him, they work together, I think she can dispose of him anytime. She has more power. She has more resources. Sal doesn't. Sal doesn't have any moves left unless there's something else comes up as a surprise. But this was interesting too, because from the beginning of this show, we see how first they didn't like each other, and now they kind of got close together, Sofia and Oz, but now they're going to be at the odds end where they're going to have to be mortal enemies, and one of them is going to come on top. So we'll see how this ends, because my goodness, what an episode. Definitely enjoyed it. Christine Miliotti's performance is great. She is absolutely fantastic and intimidating. Psychiatrist also is, come to find out, made a point to talk to Sofia, where he said, hey, whatever you're doing now, whatever the next steps are, I want to be part of it. I know it was you who took care of all the family, so I want to be part of this. And so he's also part of this now, which is going to be interesting to see how his skills and his knowledge and his resources also fall and help into Sofia's plan. Cinematography was great. Dialogue was great. Colin Farrell, of course, was absolutely great. Vic was fantastic in this. We see his personality shine a little bit more, and he's embracing a little bit more of the chaos and this underground war that's happening, and he's actually, it looks like he's starting to enjoy it. But we also see a little more, we still see innocence in Vic when he's talking to Oz's mom, and we see he's different with Oz and he's softer. He's still that Vic that we knew from the beginning, but he's still kind of trying to lead into and help Oz as much as possible. So we see the both sides of Vic, and I think that's an interesting personality trait where everything that he was taught by his parents is still there, but everything that Oz is teaching him and everything that he is believing that he needs to be for Oz, it's coming to emerge. So we'll see which side of personality is going to prevail towards the end, or whatever happens to Vic in the future. Great episode. My goodness, I cannot wait to see what they do with the new layer towards the end. And that's such a smart decision from Oz to go ahead and make it into the underground, because now he's extremely difficult to reach, because as far as what this episode showed, there was only one way to entrance. One notable detail is that Vic asked him, what happened to your brothers, to Oz's brothers? And Oz said the city took them, and they used to run around the city. They used to run around these tunnels. They used to be mischievous and be kids. And so we don't know, is he lying? We don't know if he's telling the truth. So hopefully that's going to be fleshed out a little bit more, so we can maybe come to find out what really, really happened to his brothers. Everything about this episode was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. That's just kind of make sure I don't spoil too much. I know I spoiled maybe some things, so I apologize. But I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion, because this episode it was called Homecoming, and I think that's such a nod to, because once Vic picked up Oz's mom and they escaped into the different side of part of Gotham, she said when they walked into the apartment, this is kind of what it looks like when I raised the boys. And I think that's part of the homecoming. I think also part of the homecoming was they are starting brand new chapter. They're in a new layer. They're starting a new business. They're about to grow all these different things. And so I think that's, now we are starting to see real Oz the Penguin emerge, and real, because he had to make these moves in order to get to this point, and he had to betray people. But one thing, also, I keep saying one thing, I'm sorry, but the thing that I really enjoyed too was when Sofia sat with Sal across the table, she saw the ring that Sal was wearing, and she didn't say anything. So I think Sal is going to be used as a puppet and as a decoy, because I think that's also going to be revenge for Sofia, in order to get that ring back too, because she still feels like that ring belongs to her, because in her father's eyes, it was representing power. It was representing something that nobody else could really achieve but him. So I am really looking forward to see how this ends and where they go from here. I know, like I said before, this is tying into Batman 2 movie, and Matt Reeves has completed a script. I think they're revising things here and there, but they have a story down, and so it's going to be set in winter, as far as we know, and as far as listening to the interview. But yeah, this was really, really good. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. I really enjoyed this. This is becoming better and better as we go along. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you guys at the next review.